Going down.
On the right-hand side, that beautiful building is Government House. That's where the Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia resides. The statue in the graveyard on the left-hand side with the lion on top, that refers to the Boer War. And many volunteers from the Halifax area went to South Africa to fight in the Boer War. Now, Billy's going to turn left here, and I want you to have a look. Oh my goodness, look at the church on to our left right now. That is St. Mary's Cathedral Basilica. It is a historic church. Now, what I want to tell you is the granite spire on the top of that church is the tallest granite spire in North America. It's a wonderful church to visit, and as we drive by, I think the door is open. It usually is. You might just get a little peek inside. Anyway, so have a look on the right. This is St. Mary's Cathedral Basilica. And it's considered the mother church of the Catholic faith in Nova Scotia. Okay, on the left-hand side, coming up, are the old courthouses. And there's still a court. That's the drawbridge that is down today. But you can imagine an enemy coming from the harbor, coming from the harbor and having to get all the way up that hill, and then get across the moat, the dry moat. It's no water in it. Right here, look, that's 40 feet deep, and that goes all the way around. Guess what? The fortress was never attacked. Okay, but it has stood guard over the harbor and the area behind. So we're going to come around the back side here. But as we're driving around, you may get this sense of the star-shaped fortress. And a little view of the harbor. You can see one of our bridges there. There's two across the harbor. On the right, that's the McDonald Bridge. If you ask somebody from Halifax, what's the name of that bridge? You'd probably just get an answer and say, oh, that's the old bridge. And then way further up is the new bridge, which is called the McKay Bridge. We do have a Scottish heritage in Nova Scotia. The only thing, each province has a tartan. I decided, because it's kind of cool today, I decided I would not wear my tartan skirt. However, I do have my Nova Scotia tartan scarf on today, and you'll see that later on when we're off the coach together. So here we are, all going around here.
Public gardens.
And it was very unfortunate, but this is way back in the day. But anyway, that's called Griffin's Pond. And actually, one of the first indoor ice rinks was over on the backside there. It was one of the first indoor hockey rinks in Canada. And it was great because ladies and gentlemen, young men and young women, were able to hold hands and skate together. It was Victorian times, so you really, if you were a girl, you really shouldn't be out walking with a guy who wasn't your husband back in those days. But at the hockey rink or in the skating rink, you could get away with it. You could skate around together to music. It was wonderful.
A fountain that was given for Queen Victoria's 60th year on the throne. Beautiful.
Okay, behind me, you can see the Titanic site. You can see the headstones. They're nearly all the same. If you had a book about this area, the row closest to us would be row 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Row 2 is very short. The plot was designed by a Mr. Christie, and Mr. Christie envisioned, all right, the headstones looking towards the northeast, which is where the ship went down. So that would be 1912, and the rows kind of meet at the top. Okay, and you'll notice that when we get up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go move along. I'm going to give you some information about some of the people buried here. If you have any questions, one of the questions I know you're going to have is when you get there, you're going to see the numbers on the headstone are not in order. It doesn't go 1, 2, 3. And I'll explain that to you once we get in around there. By the way, the initials in front of Titanic here, RMS, Titanic. Anybody know what RMS stands for? Royal something, not Majesty.
Marine?
No, I haven't heard it. Royal Mail Ship. Samuel Cunard came up with the brilliant idea. He made a statement. He said, if trains run on schedule, why can't ships? And that began the passenger and mail services across the Atlantic. And it was his idea, and ships began to run on schedule. And when ships run on schedule, you know, you've got a way to make money. And that's what happened with Cunard Line and also White Star Line. Okay, so we're going to start our little adventure over here. Grandfather, actually his great-grandfather, was the Halifax policeman who guarded the bodies before they were buried. And all the clothing was going to be burned. All the bodies, all the clothing was going to be burned. Why? Because you didn't want souvenir hunters getting their hands on it and selling it. So, his grandfather couldn't bear to see everything taken from the child, so he took the shoes. And he figured someone would show up. And he was a policeman. He took the shoes home with him. Well, he took them to the police station. Nobody came. Nobody said anything. When he retired from the police station, he took the shoes home with him. It was kind of a family secret that these shoes were there.
Got the Turkey Club, a ton of fries. There's the lighthouse. There is a path. She really encouraged us not to walk on the rocks, stay on the path. I don't feel like I really need to get any closer. Beautiful. That's the main store restaurant bathroom.
See the woman in the middle. She's about 3 people to the right of the square. There she is, Peggy with the basket and the lawn.
All right, we're back on the ship. I am so tired today. We have dinner at Izumi, which is like ramen and sushi. Bigger ships, they do hibachi, but they don't have hibachi in this one. So let's go try that. Waiting for an elevator. And they're playing music up in the Centrum. The excursion was great. This tour guide was not as good as like Bonnie from yesterday. I hope the wind's not too bad, but it's pretty out here. It's only like 6:30. It's super dark. But anyways, so the excursion was good. The tour guide wasn't as good as Bonnie from the day before. She was very knowledgeable still, but just like her presenting wasn't quite as good, and she was having a little trouble with like factory vault. but she was super nice. Our bus driver was like kind of your stereotypical Canadian. He was so nice, and yeah, he was a lot of fun. The Titanic information I thought was really interesting. They do a tour that's just kind of based on the Titanic stuff, so I think that would have been probably really good too. And then Peggy's Cove was gorgeous, but we had like 3 hours in Peggy's Cove. We definitely did not need that long. I could have used it to be about half an hour to an hour shorter, but you know, it's fine. All right, Izumi. Not like super hungry, so this is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. Alright, you can do a la carte or the prefix, which the prefix is what your dining package ultimately gets you. Miso soup, signature rolls, and your desserts. Lots of wine. The Japanese strawberry sounds kind of good. Edamame. Got the Japanese strawberry. Got the dumplings. Pork ones. The snow crab California roll. Pretty. Got the ramen with the pork. Went with the traditional dessert. Got the sesame balls. Okay, sorry, bed talk. Izumi was amazing. I knew it would be my favorite. That's why I kind of kept it to towards the end of the cruise, because I was afraid if I did it at like beginning that I would love it so much and then I would not go to one of the other specialty, and that was probably a safe assumption. I get why people do the unlimited dining package and just eat at the specialty. And I've only done main dining once for dinner and once for lunch. But yeah, I get why people do that. You know, all three have been good. Izumi's my favorite. You know, Chops and Giovanni are kind of tied for me. I'd probably give it to Giovanni's table over Chops slightly. But, and that has a little bit more to do with, all of them except for Izumi, but Giovanni's and Chops just really felt like they were understaffed. Like, it took forever for the maitre d' to come at Giovanni's table and seat me. The waiter was that was pretty quick. I got out of there within an hour. Chops, like, he was just at my A for a while. Like, I don't know. Chops definitely felt understaffed. That night, at least. Izumi's was it's tiny. There's not that many seats in there. But it kind of felt somewhat dead to me. But it was so good. I loved the dumplings. That drink I had was so good. I actually will probably try to go and just get the drink tomorrow. That's like the best drink I've had so far, other than my normal triple sec and orange juice, but that's something like I have at home. So it was weird about the drink is that it tastes like, it smelled a little champagne-y, beery, but tasted nothing like that. It was a little bit weird. Kind of same with the ramen. The ramen kind of smelled bad, actually, but it tasted really good. I think it was the pork in the ramen that just smelled weird, but it tasted great. So I'm trying to keep it together to go see the magic show at 9, but like, I am so full and I'm so tired. I don't know, I might have to skip it. And then there's like an adult game show I wanted to watch tonight too, but I might have to just prioritize some self-care. and take some sleeping pills and go to sleep. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to at least go to the magic show because that's at 9. I'll be done at 10. That's a reasonable bedtime, right? So we'll see. But yeah, Izumi was great. Waiter was very soft-spoken, so he was a little bit hard to hear, but he was very attentive. So he was actually the first that I up-tipped on because he did such a great job. The manager also was very present. Like, the manager never talked to me at Giovanni's. I remember he did talk to me at Chops, me and my friends. But yeah, this guy like wrapped up my leftovers, the manager did. Like, it just was a great experience at Izumi. So I highly recommend that. All right. Give me some motivation to go to the magic show. All right, let me know if you have any questions about Izumi, and I'll let you know how the magic show was. Hopefully I make it. I'm gonna make it. Manifesting. This is the magic show tonight. It is a rockin' tonight. Welcome to the backyard. You know what that means. Future Melissa here, because I didn't share some thoughts in real time. So, a little bit on the magic show. It was good. He did like fall, and at first we all kind of thought it was part of like the act, but he actually like legitimately fall and kind of hurt himself, and he continued on. Like, you know, he must have pulled something or like maybe, you know, bruised a little bit, but he was a good sport about that. There was like some cool like visual clips that he used. So he was a little bit, you know, mixed media in there. He did like the whole calculator magic trick, which is very popular. Like, there was a number on a piece of paper, threw it into the audience, someone grabbed it, and then he had us do all these things on the calculator, and then that was the number that was on the sheet, which was crazy. So I think that's kind of gotten really popular. Maybe it's the same guy in all these vlogs I've been seeing, I'm not sure. But it definitely was worth going to. I'm not a huge magic show person, but, you know, I didn't leave annoyed that I spent the time doing it. So if he's on your cruise, definitely check him out. Also wanted to say, sorry in the cemetery clips, very breathy. I must have had the camera kind of close to me to not be in like the group's way, and there was quite a bit of like uphill walking there, so it was pretty breathy. I tried to put a little bit of music over that to try to take away from it, but I'm sorry if it was a bit breathy for you. All right, well, now I'll go into the resource for today's video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. All right, the resource for today's video is going to be kind of a combo of information and a website to go to get help. So a little on seasonal affect disorder, SAD. So very common this time of year, especially in our wintry, dark, dreary states like Michigan. It's been kind of an odd winter here too. So some of the signs and symptoms of SAD, so persistent sad, anxious or empty mood most of the day for at least 2 weeks, feelings of hopelessness or pessimism, feelings of guilt, decreased energy, concentrating issues, maybe some physical aches or pains, headaches, cramps, digestive problems, things like that. And then, of course, thoughts of suicide or suicide attempts. So if you think that maybe this is something that's affecting you or someone you love, I'll have this link down below. There is some different options to look for treatment. How is it diagnosed? You know, who develops it and what causes it, so you can know a little bit more. And then how is it treated, like with light therapy and psychotherapy, maybe even antidepressants and vitamin D. It goes a little bit more into all of those. Can it be prevented? Things like that. So this will be down in the description if this is something that you would like to know more about. Thank you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.